How's it going? I hope everyone has had an excellent week. My week's been pretty good. A little tired, but doing okay otherwise. Um, this weekend we have my daughter's birthday party. She's having her friend party on Saturday, and then having a family over for a party on Sunday. So busy weekend. And actually, while she's having her friend party, I'm going to take my son to the aquarium here. And so that should be a good, fun day, boys' day at the aquarium. I hope you guys have something fun planned for the weekend. Maybe not as busy as mine, but at least do something fun. Today, I want to talk a little bit about um, drifting back towards comfort. Uh, I was having a conversation with a client earlier this week, and one of the things we were talking about was kind of uh, the subconscious desire to go back to our old habits or ways of doing things because those are just inherently comforting to us. As humans, I think that there is an innate desire to do what is known, do what is comfortable, right? So whenever we try to do something new, I feel like it's a challenge to avoid drifting back towards old habits or old um, ways of doing things because comfort or unknown is scary, right? And in ancestral terms, it was quite dangerous because if you went into some place that was unknown, we didn't know what kind of animal was there. We didn't know if there's going to be food there. We didn't know um, if we were going to, what the weather was going to be like, or the poisonous plants or animals in this area, right? So going into a new environment um, ancestrally meant, a greater risk of dying. And since our whole way of being or whole purpose of being is to procreate and spread our genes, that was inherently a bad thing to do. But we know throughout human history that people obviously did do this, right? We always went to new places, and that's how the human race, expanded across the globe. Someone had to make that first leap into Europe. Someone had to make that first leap into North America and South America, and even just more recently, we can think about people, Europeans venturing west in the Americas in the early days into completely unknown territory, right? Someone, eventually went off to the Mississippi and beyond the Mississippi and California and Rocky Mountains, and those people were taking chances, right? But there's always a reason, right? There's a motivator, right? Lots of times we talk about, uh, for example, like a lot of reason why people went out west from the East Coast here in the U.S. is because someone said there was gold out there, right? And money is a big motivator for people, and you can find gold, you can make a lot of money, and that drove a lot of people out west. And a lot of people died along the way, right? It was not easy to do, and so there's always some risk in doing that, but humans can take a lot of risk and go into the unknown if there is, some meaningful reward at the end of that journey, right? And so, but along the way, along this journey of going into the unknown, we might look back and say, well, I kind of feel very comfortable. I know what to expect here on the East Coast. Maybe I should stop and turn back and go back the other direction and go back east and go home. And because I know what that's like. I know I can at least survive there. I know the environment. I know that there's, I know the weather, I know the food, I know all that stuff, right? I don't know if there's some other human or animal out here that's going to attack me. I know there's, uh, you know, uh, people that if I get sick, maybe I have a chance of surviving. And the same is true on various different types of health journeys that we try to undertake. Um, maybe it's a dietary shift where you're trying to explore different ways of eating. Maybe it's, you're trying to go include more plants, or you're trying to include more meat, or you're trying to include more carbs or more fats, or you're trying to experiment with fasting or various different things, right? You always go back to like, well, I operated pretty well on this diet a while ago, or this diet helped me lose weight in the past, or this way of eating made me feel this way. I knew I could perform well on this diet, physically. I don't know if I drop my carbs to this level, whether I'm going to be able to sustain my athletic performance that I'm used to. So I kind of, maybe I should go back to that, right? And we start to second question ourselves because we want to go back to what's comfortable. We want to go back to a way that's we know about. There's known limitations, there's known benefits, there's known it's just comfortable to us, right? We second guess ourselves. And the same thing could be do like trying to increase your calories. And same thing could be do is starting. Can be said about starting a new physical activity routine. Maybe you've done a ton of cardio in the past, and you've heard about benefits of strength training, and now you're trying to try out strength training, but you don't really know what you're doing. Your form isn't good. You're worried about getting hurt, and what if I lose all my aerobic fitness if I cut back on my cardio training and replace it with a lot of strength training? And I've been there. Everyone's been there, I think, along the way. I can relate to the cardio thing. I was heavy into endurance training, and I knew about the strength training and started to get into the strength training. And I was probably at my peak doing, some type of cardiovascular training 5 days a week. And, recently been doing, one run a week for the past few years. And I can still go out and run plenty long. Um, and there are certainly times along the way where I second guess myself. I should go back to this. I should do more running. I need to do more running. I need to, I'm going to lose all my cardiovascular fitness. I'm not going to be able to run anymore. I'm not going to be able to do half marathons. I'm not going to be able to hike up the mountain. I'm not going to be able to do all these things. And they turned out to be false, right? And that's not always going to be the case. Sometimes your experiment will flop. It'll fail. You will not get the benefits that you're hoping for. That doesn't mean you didn't learn anything. You certainly learned something, and that made you better, and that furthered you towards your goal, right? You just course correct and adjust, and you can always go back, right? That's the thing. You can always go back to something. If you know something works and you know it's worked for you in the past and it's benefited for you in the past, and you decide to make a change to see if this other thing can maybe take you to the next level or make you even better than you were in the past, and it doesn't work, and you fail and it makes you worse, it's not like all hope is lost, right? This isn't like a life or death situation like we were talking about people traveling west from the East Coast originally. We're talking about making dietary changes that are, hopefully you're making dietary changes that are not life or death situations, or you're not, changing your exercise pattern. That's not a life or death situation, I hope. Um, so you can always head back and course correct and change direction. And I think that should be the expectation. But oftentimes we have to either we have to talk ourselves out of it, or we need someone else to help talk ourselves out of it, because we don't like the unknown. We like to be in a place of comfort. So we think back to the way things used to be, and we're like, oh, that's very comfortable. I think I should go back to doing that. We haven't given this new path a fair shake. Um, and I think one thing that helps me not turn back and go back in the other direction is to see if what I'm doing is, if I'm making progress and if it aligns to my current goals, right? So my current goals right now, for example, are to put on a bunch of lean mass, right? And that involves eating a whole ton of food, and it's uncomfortable sometimes. Literally physically uncomfortable. It's a mental battle to continuously be trying to increase calories, increase calories, increase calories, and eat more food, and still maintain my health and not put on a bunch of fat mass in the process. And at the same time, I know that if I want to get to my goals of adding more mass, I need to lift weights and I need to eat more food. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just trusting the process, right? Every once in a while, I think, well, oh, it'd be nice to like incorporate a day of fasting here. And like, sure, I could if I wanted to, but I know what that does, right? I know that path. I know I've been there before. I know the outcomes. Not that that's bad, not that it's going to negatively affect me, but I'm not sure it's going to help me get towards where I want to be at the moment. So if you can't subjectively take a step back and look at what you're doing, and give an objective opinion about whether it's helping you reach your goals, ask for help. Ask for someone to help you. Ask for advice. See what they think, and and take that route as well. So I hope that made sense. I hope it resonated with people. It was kind of a deep conversation I was having with a client, and I thought it was something that everyone struggles with. I struggle with it. I think everyone on a journey always, um, you know, tends to second guess themselves and drift back towards the comfort. And we just need to lean into the uncomfortable sometimes, and in order to explore new boundaries, in whatever we're trying to do. So hope that helps. Hope it resonates. And if you do need someone to help bounce some ideas off of, or give you some validation of what you're doing is worthwhile and a worthwhile exploration, please feel free to reach out to me. Leave a comment below. You can direct message me. Always happy to chat and talk about these types of things. If you want to get all the content that I put out on a weekly basis without having to stalk me on social media, please go to my website at rjbhealth.coach and sign up for the newsletter at the top by clicking the newsletter link. You enter your email address and you'll be jumping on the newsletter. It's a great way to keep up with what I'm doing and what things I'm writing about and that type of stuff. And if you are interested in coaching, one-on-one coaching, I do a handful, maybe 1 or 2 spots left open. If you're interested in doing that, those tend to fill up pretty quickly. So because I tend to retain clients for quite a few months. So once they're full for a while. So if you're thinking about doing some health coaching or need some help in any way, please reach out. Again, you can direct message me or get in touch with me any way you want. Or if you want to, the best way to do this is to go to my website again at rjbhealth.coach and click the schedule discovery call at the button right on the homepage and fill out the form, and I'll get an email about that, and we can chat a little bit more about coaching if that's something you're interested in. So with that, I hope everyone has a good weekend, and I will talk to you all next week.